Yes, it is I, Mr. Gaming Counselor. Welcome back to the counselor's office. And today we're going to talk about Destiny. No, we're not. We're talking about another game, Black Ops 7. That's right. The saga continues. We reacted to Arc Raiders and the review from your favorite journalist, Eurogamer. That's right. And so we're going to react to this one and see what they have to say, and it's interesting. Let's jump into it, shall we? We're not gonna diddle-daddle. By the way, scholars, subscribe to the channel. We're slowly making our way up to 5,000. We breached 4,000. At 5,000, we will shave the beard. That's right, I'll be a naked mole rat. I will look like half the dudes angry in the comments section. That's right, I will look like them. I will become one of them. That's me, not you, by the way. Don't check your Discord, that's me. I will no longer be Jack Black's body double. I will just be some generic white dude, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. All right, jumping into it. That is not it. Okay, there we go. We're going to react to Eurogamer. That's right. Remember, Arc Raiders, when we reviewed it, they gave it a 2 out of 5. And now Eurogamer is giving it a 3 out of 5 for Black Ops 7. When one is more abusive with its AI and also is lackluster. Like, the only thing saving this game is the zombies, and even then it's like a DLC for Black Ops 6. So that when you look at the full package, it's not worth the money. It's just not. Let's see what Eurogamer has to say, though. This is their review. Let's see. In the opening of the new Call of Duty, Milo Ventimiglia lays a cigar on the grave of series fixture Frank Woods. Dude, he is dead, but they will use his dead corpse as long as, like, talk about a character that they have done everything possible to ring through multiple versions of this game. He will be back. He's not even in the else, you know, in cannabis-induced hallucinations, you will see Frank Woods. He takes a long stroll through the cemetery of Troy Marshall, the powerful backbone of last year's story. I don't remember him. I don't remember him. Now, white-haired and walking with a stick, 4 decades have passed since the events of... By the way, Frank lived to 104. I don't believe that. 4 decades have passed since the events of Black Ops 6. Gone in a blink of an eye, the pull of a trigger. Stop looking backwards, David, says Marshall. What matters is what you do next. It's a philosophy that developers Treyarch and Raven have embraced with Black Ops 7. That's right. Tossing out decades of established programming in the process. Damn. Almost every year since the launch of MySpace, dating ourselves, there has been a single-player Call of Duty campaign. Though, listen, I remember playing the Big Red 1 campaign. I remember playing the Big Red 1 with my grandpa. And my grandpa, like, he knew all the history. And he's like, I told him, like, the mission. He's like, okay, I remember, you know, he was able to talk about the war and all this shit. Like, he wasn't part of the war, but he was he's very knowledgeable. He knows that history, right? And so he was interested. It was really cool. It was one of those bonding moments. Like, if I played Halo, my grandpa would be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I played the Big Red 1, and he was like, I can get behind this. It was the one time I bonded with my grandpa with video games. And I'll remember that because I was playing the OG Xbox too. Anyways, rant over. Though varying in quality, they have defined a genre, a distinct form of first-person cinema, which has placed the player at the center of countless deadly spectacles, their own execution, a nuclear detonation. By the way, I've not played this campaign. Was it Modern Warfare 1 or 2? I don't remember the OGs. I've not played that. I need to play it. I need to play it. I know. I need to play that story, which placed the player, collapse of Eiffel Tower. I was there for that. Modern Warfare 4. They have allowed us, in short, to get an Eiffel. But this time, there isn't one. Oh yes, you can launch Black Ops 7 story mode in solo if you like. Maybe even struggle gamely through its first few missions, while ignoring the superfluous protagonist in every cutscene. But it's a co-op campaign, marked on the menu as such. The co-op isn't really optional, not if you want to have a good time. Oh no, like, I don't even think, maybe if you wanted to play with buds and half of you were drunk, sure, drunk Call of Duty might have been fun. The theatrical choreography. I had to get a drink because every time I see specific words, I get tongue-tied. Theatrical choreography. That unfolds around a solo protagonist in COD, a single actor who can be directed to a specific mark and swung from a rope, blown out of the sky, or otherwise made subject to some intricate stunt work. It is naturally impossible. Once to 4 players, they are milling around the scene. The action of Black Ops 7 is therefore broader and simpler. Stealth sequences that go permanently loud the moment a player is sighted. Boss fights, which pitch you against hefty health bars, phased waves of opponents. Not to forget that the fact that you go against Destiny raid bosses. Not for nothing does the plot of Black Ops 7 revolve around a robotic threat. Enemies come armored as standard so that every player has a chance to stick the boot before they crash to Earth. Thankfully, in the wake of Warzone, Activision Studios have cracked the nuts of making metal fun to shoot at, excelling in the field of audio feedback as bullets penetrate plates and rupture fuel tanks with a crack and a whoosh. The synthetics in particular explode with pleasingly concussive forcing, setting off a chain reaction through the ranks. I'm gonna be honest, when I was shooting robots and blowing shit up, I wasn't really excited. Each pocket of action is bookended by implausible piles of armaments, buffet tables of specialist grenades, and crates offering binary choices of upgraded weapons. Verisimilitude? Okay, I googled that. Apparently I did say that, verisimilitude, but something about being real takes a backseat. So it's realism. Takes a backseat to the co-op of convenience, and dialogue and similarly sideline in case it gets in the way of mic chat, exposition, and character movements saved mainly for cinematic intervals. There is nothing here remotely comparable to Black Ops 6 ambitious moments of immersive scene setting. No Hitman-light social simulation, no trotting about on marble floors at a Washington fundraiser while Bill Gates' glad hands in the background. Wait, Bill Gates was in that? What the fuck? All is in service to a smooth multiplayer session. Black Ops 7 gets away with such abstraction by leaning into the series' history of nightmarish visions, plucking the hallucinogenic bioweapon from last year's campaign and pumping it permanently through our protagonist systems. Was it hallucinogenics? I guess it was. Like, dude, Black Ops 6 just is such a blur. That's how you know it's such a shitty story, is when you forget about the last year's version of it. It's through dreamlike sequences like these that the campaign draws on the memories of Black Ops characters, taking you back a decade and a half to Vorkuda's forced labor camps. Yeah, let's be honest. There's no Sam way in hell that Mason would be having memories of his father's experience. Like, and it would have been kookier and crazier because he's only just coming up to his own conclusion. For instance, the LA drone attack that finished out 2012 story, while effective enough as a fan service, these reminders of past crescendos introduce a kind of cognitive dissonance, since Black Ops 7 is more indebted to Destiny than any of the campaigns it referenced. Yeah! Amid the callbacks, there's little room left for Ventimiglia to explore what I'm sure Black Ops 7's writers would tell you is a meditation on forgiving one's own mistakes. Treyarch and Raven are better off when machine gunning their own pharaohs, as with a breathless sprint through Tokyo's arcades and out on the rooftops. It's a parkour adjacent sequence that finds you bouncing off billboards as flute trills in sync with the butterflies in your stomach. There are similar giddy thrills to be found in Avalon, the fictional European states that reoccur throughout the campaign and constitutes its endgame, where the returning grappling hook from Black Ops 6 can lift you out of a firefight into a seamless fight on the wings of your jumpsuit. I did think it was pretty cool. You could just it felt like you're playing Halo Infinite, and then you had the wingsuit. The wall, it felt way too Destiny. Now that I think about it, it definitely felt like Destiny. The wall, not with the grappling, but just with the movement. The wall bounce that elevates the Tokyo mission carries through its multiplayer, evoking the boost jump of old without compromising the familiar feel of frantic deathmatch. Because that's how competitive COD is always played, as a deathmatch, regardless of the mode you happen to be occupying. When there's an objective to capture, it's merely deathmatch with a diversion. It's that which will always separate it from Battlefield. The most successful of the new modes, however, introduces a fun wrinkle in the form of an overload device, essentially a football which one player must pick up and deliver to a goal in their opponent's spawn area. There's an illicit joy to dodging the fight altogether and sprinting to the end zone, scoring just a second before you cut to shrubberies by your frustrated enemies. By the way, this is just Rift from Destiny. It's just Rift. Because you would pick up the Rift and blow it up. Yeah, it's just Rift from Destiny. Messier is the new 2020 mode, Skirmish, which throws wingsuits, grappling hooks, and vehicles at maps which are just about large enough to contain them. It's tempting to file Skirmish under the wider Warzone-ification of COD, but in truth, it's more closely resembling Wolfenstein enemy territory, widening the tight combat loop of deathmatch and leaving the extra room largely empty. You're more likely to be surprised by what happens in Skirmish than in other modes, but you're more likely to be bored too. Damn. I've got to play this mode. I didn't play this Skirmish. I need to play it. Zombies, meanwhile, is zombies. Yep. If you like Black Ops 6 zombies, it's just zombies. A house under its own rule, beloved by its disciples, consumed by self-reference, it remains an elaborate horde mode in which new routes are progressively unlocked across the labyrinthine map, and favorite weapons are gradually beefed up to tackle tougher and tougher onslaughts from moldering corpses. This year, though, unusually, a co-op COD heads will have a time conundrum on their hands. They'll have to choose between dedicating themselves wholly to zombies or to the campaign's endgame. In the latter, multiple friendly squads deploy into an open-world Avalon to conquer zones of graduating difficulty before extracting with their winnings. It's a wingly free-form setup which forefronts just cause style mobility and low-commitment objectives. Fairly relaxed lunch break fodder unless you potter into high-level territory. Activision is already working on ways to evolve the Avalon map with updates in upcoming seasons, and from a publisher perspective, you can see why turning the annual campaign into a live service appeals. By the way, that's the problem with turning your, I don't understand why we can't just have the single player as a single player. And you can't just play the campaign offline. It is online all the time. Like, you actually load up matchmaking, even if you go solo, like, you does the queue process. And I crashed it doesn't have checkpoints. So if you're playing the story and it crashes, well, sucks to fucking suck. Cutscenes and performance capture into long-term incomes. But I do think it's ultimately unwise. In an era when big budget games are expected to be enormous and endlessly gross, Activision has had a good thing going. Every year, Call of Duty has brought 3 discrete offerings to the table, catering to solo, co-op, and competitive players all at once. By limiting the single-player campaign, the publisher has compromised that inherent variety, turning a distinct set of experiences into a more homogenous mush. I agree. It's really fucking stupid. Besides the uninspiring top-down twin-stick novelty of Dead Ops, okay, even I think it's just a fun little thing. It's a fun little game mode. But can we not shit on Dead Ops? It knows what it is. It's meant to be goofy and silly and fun. There is also no mode I'm aware of in 2020's edition of Call of Duty in which you can comfortably pause to go for a wee, accept a parcel delivery, or answer your phone. I consider that a design flaw. I would agree too. It's very probable that COD will return with a solo campaign next year. I can't imagine Infinity Ward has been working on anything less, but elements of Black Ops 7's approach are likely to trickle into future entries, and I consider that a shame. As the lackluster campaign of Battlefield 6 proved, there are few studios out there with the institutional knowledge to deliver single-player spectacle on par with the Call of Duty. To elect legacy in the immediate wake of Black Ops 6, a spy thriller, which was critically acclaimed as COD's finest solo outing in years, all while dressing this new game as a direct sequel, is a minor travesty. If you can accept Black Ops 7's fundamental changes to formula in their own terms, you'll have a good trip. Despite the psychochemicals coursing through your veins, I'm just not convinced those changes bode well for the health of the series. You know what? Not only did they not mention the AI, and I think it was smart not to, But at the same time, I think it's okay in this instance to attack them because it's very blatant and lazy. But also, I feel like they were too nice about the campaign. Just the whole fucking campaign, like 80% of it was just hallucinations, which wasn't what, like, I think the best mission was the stealth mission with Spectre 2 team. Because it felt like real Black Ops, and I feel like that should have been what the game was about. Instead, we got whatever the fuck we got. Again, Jeremy is not to be blamed for the sins of the previous, and I feel like this is a more fair review because they kept it simple and they kept it to the point. He was right about Black Ops, the zombies. If you like it, you like it. The campaign was awful, and the multiplayer is just more multiplayer. A 3 out of 5, is very average, and I think that's pretty fair. But you know what's not fair is that we have someone who's angry. That's right. I am bringing a special thing to the channel. Special awards. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to introduce a special thing to the awards. It's called the Shame Awards, and we've got our first winner for the Shame Awards, and I'm going to take the time to shame them. That's right. That's right. Here we go. We've got our winner of this episode's Shame Awards, Elisette. You have no idea about anything in this community. Just like Destiny, you are raging about Eurogamer's opinion while sharing your own, and you don't see the ignorance or irony. By the way, this is a response to my reaction to Eurogamer's review of Arc Raiders, where they gave it a 2 out of 5. And that entire review was glazing Arc Raiders, only to take the professionalism and the seriousness and flush it down the toilet to make some kind of political moral statement rather than doing their fucking job. And let's see it here. They're not you have no idea about anything in this community. By the way, Alicia's not part of the Arc Raiders community. They don't give a shit about Arc Raiders. They're a Bungie fanboy. Why? Because they're talking about Destiny immediately. We're not even talking about Destiny, and yet they bring up Destiny. And you know why? It's because this is a Bungie fanboy who likes Marathon. And guess who threatens Marathon? Arc Raiders. Which is why Elisette, who's the idiot, who's the Shame Award, awarded retard, they're butthurt because Arc Raiders is doing well. And they are cheering on Eurogamer for shitting down Arc Raiders' throat. You are random sharing an opinion. Who is this article writer? Another random sharing their opinion. You are a D2 locale loser. Again, we're talking about Euro fucking Gamer and Arc Raiders. They can't stop. When you look at Bungie ball fondlers, they can't do anything but retardedly think about Destiny the entire fucking time. It's crazy. We're talking about entirely different game. They can't stop thinking about it. This is what happens when you have mental health issues. Other people are allowed their opinions just as you are yours. You are right. But this isn't a random. This is a professional game journalist who gives a ranking. By the way, their ranking, their scoring impacts the overall scoring of the game. Like, that is subjectively more impactful than some Joe Schmo on Twitter or Reddit or this retard in the comment section. What they do has a bigger implication and impact on Arc Raiders in their scoring. It just goes to show that people like this are just fucking retards. But they like Marathon, so that makes sense. Random still talking to me is Brazy. You are a nobody. He's a nobody. Since when does having a job not make you a random? Since when does having a job not make you a random? What the fuck does that even mean? It's just not that deep, fam. But if it's not that deep, then why are you in the comment section defending Eurogamer, you dumb bitch? If you're this press, I encourage you to keep yelling to the void as a form of therapy. I don't need to go into a void. See, Elysiate, your face, your moment of fame is actually shame. And unlike you, I am a nobody, but I'm a nobody with 4,000 subscribers and viewers who are watching this video who now know you as a retard. See, I get paid for this. You won't. No one will remember you. And the Eurogamer, people know who the fuck that guy is now because he's the guy that made the stupid 2 out of 5 rating and screwed over Arc Raiders with the drop because of their moral standing of, you know, text-to-speech AI. Whoa, whoa. It's funny because you are the definition of nobody. No one knows who you are. No one gives a shit about your opinion. And you are not part of the majority of the community because most of the people in the Arc Raider community did not like that article. So you speak for your own self. Go back to Marathon, you Bungie, dick-sucking bitch. But thank you for supporting us in our Shame Awards. Enjoy those Shame Awards, baby. Enjoy them just for you, baby. Yeah. Anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. I think this is a very tame review. I think it's fair. Honestly, I would give it a 2 out of 5. Not just because the AI slop, but because the standards of Call of Duty have gotten lower and lower and lower. And it feels like Activision knows that they can crank out the bare fucking minimum and get away with it. See, like companies like Bungie can no longer get away with that. They can't get away with that. But Call of Duty absolutely know that they can get away with it. And yes, their sales are going down, but let's be honest. Even though the sales go down and the vibe has changed, and they will probably make changes. They will. But that doesn't mean they're going to put that much more effort. They'll do the next minimum, right? The bars here, they'll crank it up just a little bit more, just to say, hey, we're doing something, right? Let's be honest. $billion company, they're going to do what they got to do to make money because they're greedy bastards. And Activision has always been greedy bastards. That's why people would blame them for, you know, Destiny 2, even though it was Activision and Bungie, right? 2 peas in a fucking pod. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Let me know what you think about this review. Do you think it was fair? Do you think they should have went harder? Again, not going to blame the sins of the other Eurogamer journalist. Jeremy did not write that. Pretty sure he didn't write that. Is there a way to check that? I want to verify. I don't see it, but I'm not, I believe it was like Chris or something. Let me, no, it's Rick Lane. It's this dumb bitch. Yeah, so don't blame Jeremy. Don't blame Jeremy. Short video for you guys, but let me know in the comment section what you think. As always, the saga has come to a conclusion. Eurogamer is, I don't know, man. I'm interested to see what IGN's review is, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, don't be like Elysiate and be a retard, or you'll be in the Shame Rewards. I'll see you guys